Hey, what up guys? Sanitary 103, always encouraging clean eating and a clean and healthy lifestyle. So there's nothing worse than a person with really bad breath trying to tell you a secret. It's just plain nasty, right? All jokes aside, bad breath is something that it's not on anyone's bucket list. It's something that's a huge problem, a big turnoff to the opposite sex, to the same sex, job interviews, blind dates, first dates, all that. With that being said, I'm gonna go over my top 5 tips on how to get rid of bad breath. So before I go over my 5 tips on how to get rid of bad breath, some of these are going to be a little bit more obvious than others, but definitely stay tuned. So tip number 1 is to brush. This should be no surprise to you guys and gals out there, but definitely brush your teeth. If you don't brush your teeth, it's just going to build up and all that halitosis, the gingivitis, the plaque. Always brush your teeth at minimum at least twice a day, morning and night, if you can, in between meals, in between lunch and like dinner with snacks, if possible. That will maximize your chances of having really fresh breath. So make sure to brush your teeth. On to tip number 2, which will help you prevent your chances of your breath kicking like Bruce Lee, and that is to floss. A lot of times when you eat, especially like let's say a steak, you eat a steak, gets caught in the back of your tooth right here, or your molars, your canines, whatever it is. And if you don't floss, what do you think is going to happen logically? Well, that piece of meat or popcorn or whatever food it is, if it gets caught back there and you don't floss and you don't get back there and really take it out, it's going to start building up, and that's what's going to cause all those odors from the food that's becoming old. And the longer you wait, it's going to definitely build up. So always floss. So now that we got the brushing and flossing out of the way, on to tip number 3, and this is definitely going to help. And that is to use some mouthwash. Any will do. This one's a Listerine, really common brand, Cool Mint. Right here on the label it says, kills germs that cause bad breath, plaque, and gum disease and gingivitis. So not only are you lessening the chances of getting bad breath, but you're also fighting all these gum diseases and plaque and all that gingivitis and nasty stuff. So I highly recommend you adding mouthwash to your repertoire. So the first 3 tips I mentioned are pretty common, and hopefully they don't come as a surprise to you. So let's move on to tip number 4, and this one might get glossed over a little bit, and that is to stay hydrated. The few times that, I will admit, no one's perfect. Sometimes the breath, with my wife, I'll get kind of close, she'll be like, it's a little bit smelly a little bit. And if that occurs, a lot of times I'm not hydrated. Think about it this way, when you go to sleep for 6 to 8 hours and you wake up, what do you call that? Bad morning breath. And when you're sleeping for a good 6 to 8 hours, you're not really drinking. You might get up in the middle of the night and take a little swig, but for the most part, you're pretty dehydrated. Your mouth is cotton mouth, and that's the equivalent of not being hydrated. Not only will it lessen the chances of having bad breath, but it's good for your skin, it's good for your body overall, since our bodies are primarily comprised of water, so always stay hydrated. Last but not least is tip number 5, and I highly recommend you following those 4 tips on top of adding tip number 5, and that is some mints or some gum. I have some Sour Patch gums right here. Any mints or gums will do. That's going to give your breath a different flavor, so to speak. This one is, I think it's a watermelon. No, this is a red berry flavor. But I will warn you guys and gals that if you don't follow the basic tips, the brushing, the flossing, the mouthwash, and you just go straight to the gums and mints, you're not really solving the problem. You're just masking the problem. It's kind of like the equivalent of a person who doesn't bathe or shower and then goes to the gym and tries to mask it with cologne or perfume. That's just really gross and really nasty. So this is kind of like the icing on the cake. Make sure you take care of the first 4 tips on how to get rid of bad breath, and then add in some mints, stay hydrated, floss, and brush, and use some mouthwash. And if you do that, you're gonna have some really good breath. And by doing that, hopefully you're not gonna offend anyone. Thanks once again for watching this video. Hopefully that was helpful. Comments or questions are always welcome. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for all the latest in diet, health, and fitness, if not already. I put out at least 2 to 3 new videos per week. Follow me on Facebook and or Instagram. All the links in the description box. And if you guys and gals have any other tips on how to get rid of bad breath, share them down below in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in a couple days. Bye. To live action, I just took out the pizza from the oven. It looks pretty much done. As you can see, the cheese is a little bit darker than typically normal, but that's kind of like how I like it. If you like the cheese.